Hi, my name is Samuel Nelson III, and I am a standby here at MJ the Musical. I stand by for MJ and Middle Michael.
My name is Christine Meyers. I'm the Associate Global Costume Designer for MJ the Musical.
My name is Apollo Levine. I play Rob and Joe Jackson.
I am Dontee Kiehn, and I'm the Global Associate Director of MJ the Musical.
What's up? My name is Matt Martinez. I play MJ in MJ the Musical. Yeah, I mean, every time I say it out loud, it's just a whole trip. I grew up with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's the reason that I'm here. Yeah, that influenced me in a way that like no other artist has ever influenced me, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that I can say that I'm playing him, and I'm the third person to play him on this very brilliant, iconic show, like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm very lucky, privileged, so I'm just very taken aback every day that I get to say I do that.
I'm so proud of him. It's been really fun to just see him develop from, the beginning. These kids come on and they're just so, excited to just be Michael Jackson and MJ, and then to be able to take over this role. I think we're all just very proud of him.
I think the fans' reactions and the anticipation of what they're about to see always gets me amped up. With a role like this, for me, there's always something to prove because you have expectations that are through the roof, right? People are coming into the show expecting Michael Jackson. You gotta show up and show out, you know what I'm saying? So every time I'm backstage, I'm amping myself up. I, of course, get the nerves, but I use it to make sure that, like, I can guarantee that the audiences are in safe hands, because the last thing you want is to come to an MJ show and you be like, that ain't Michael Jackson.
To watch him transform every day and to really step into those shoes and just put his mark on it. Every MJ that has touched the stage, I've been across from them, and Matt is just one of a kind, and he's a powerhouse.
I think, yeah, I have a specific moment right before the show starts where Matt kind of leaves for a second, because Matt also does, like, creep his way in through the show here and there for certain things. As soon as it's actually during Beat It, right before I walk out into the onto the stage, there's like 3 kick drums right back to back, and that's kind of my initial kind of like, all right, it's game time.
Being in the same presence of Matt, or like in his world or atmosphere, it's like I'm always watching a lesson. And just like watching his work, it's just super inspiring, and I'm super grateful to like be in the same realm as him and just to watch him perform, and like I'm always learning something from him.
When I look back at this time, the thing I'm going to be most proud of is the fact that I was capable of doing something at this caliber, and the fact that I've been here for 3 years now and I'm now leading it. I'm just continuing to prove myself wrong, and I'm very grateful that I decided to do this, because, yeah, proud of myself in that way.
It's one of the most renowned songbook in the land, and also one of the most greatest entertainers of all time. So I think there's a respect, and I think there is certainly an acknowledgement that the fans are going to require something. But I think what our team does so beautifully is center it within the art and telling a very human story.
Where I came into this world and she really like held my hand through this whole thing. Like, I learned the show through her. I had no idea what to expect when it comes to like learning lines or blocking or like direction, I've learned so much about this industry, so much about myself, and so much about the art of acting and performance in general.
I think, when you start a new musical, you try to start with the feeling of that everything's possible. We had quite a good range of the songbook to be able to utilize, so we had a lot at our fingertips. You throw a lot of things out, you try a lot of things, and I think there are always those moments, probably daily, where you have to cut a line that you love or cut a song that everyone maybe loves or expects. But at the end, you just kind of have to make the best decisions, see how that responds with your audiences.
Me and Dontee probably have had the most conversations of anybody in this building, like, because they're looking from a different perspective. Dontee is sitting out there and she's like, oh, she sees a bigger world than what I see on stage. And I can say I've grown probably the most with Dontee.
I love the range of artists I get to work with. We now have 5 companies running across the world and touring across the United States, as well as our Broadway company here. And so the global piece is supervising teams, not only going to set up the companies, to teach the material, to make sure that I'm upholding the brand and the vision of the creative team, but also to supervise and give guidance and support. Overseas, we have companies in London, Hamburg, and Australia. And each market is different, each culture is different. Each manner of actor is different. And I think it's really fascinating to describe and discover what culture, community, artistry means in different markets, and also how that expands out to the fan base, how that expands out to audiences.
When all of this happened, like, I was supposed to go to school in New Jersey at Montclair State. I was supposed to be training to do musical theater and like learn more about my craft. And now just to be here and like get all that in one, this is like, I'm treating this as my semester of college. I'm getting a whole bunch of resources. There's so many veterans here. There's so many like people that just know about everything.
Yeah, you can go to school for it. Nobody can teach you what you will learn until you step into those shoes. So he's doing this in real time, and I applaud him every step of the way. And any time that I can just be any support, that's what I'm trying to do for him, because he's awesome.
There is a lot of like, you know, self-doubt and things like that, but I've just been switching my gears so much and talking with my parents and trying to like find it within myself, like if I'm gonna be young and be the youngest person to play MJ and do this role, then I'm gonna make the audience feel like, yes, I'm the youngest person to do this, and you're gonna see a young energy, you're gonna see something that's fresh on the stage that people haven't seen before. So I just take it like that and just try and give myself grace. I woke up and I was like, dang, I'm about to debut. But I was just super nervous. Like there were so many like emotions going through my head. Like I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. Honoring Michael Jackson is the biggest like thing at this point, like honoring him. It's not about me. It's just about showing his life and like everything that he went through, his trials and tribulations, and how he used that towards his music and his acting and dancing as well.
The fact that he is that young, coming into a beast of a show and doing it with such ease is inspiring. I mean, when you're 18, you're trying to figure out who you are too. You know what I'm saying? Not only are you taking in this crazy amount of work, but you're also outside of the building trying to figure out like what you want to do for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And I think he knows that, and he's very smart and super talented. His MJ is insane.
Anytime you go out to the stage door and you see supporters of the show, fans of Michael Jackson's music and his legacy, and even the Jackson and the Jackson 5, there's always those supporters who get very emotional because it brings them back to when they were, you know, watching Michael live in person at maybe Wembley or Munich or at the Dangerous Tour or at the History Tour, the Bad Tour, with the Victory Tour. And to hear how they felt and how this experience kind of like brought them back in time, that's like one of the best feelings too as well. And like seeing the little kids in the audience with the glove and like wanting to do all these MJ moves that I once did, and now like I'm able to do these moves all the time now. It's like you always see that little kid inside of you, and like anytime I see a kid, I see myself, no matter who it is. Just yeah.
As I started out, I was the original Quincy Tito. I always laughed because I don't think before I joined the show, that role hadn't been put together, and then they put those roles together. And I remember the first time they asked me to sing Keep the Faith, and I was like, oh, it's gonna get cut. Nobody knows this song is gonna. But not only did it not get cut, it got reprised in the second act. And when I took over the Rob Joe role, it ended up following me. And so one of the lessons that I've learned is like, keep the faith. It really is not just a song just to sing, but it really is like a mantra and a testimony. If you do that, you know, the wonderful things that can come out of something that you never even expected to come into your life in the first place.
Apollo has been with us since the workshops, so I can say things to him and he will get it. He will remember, oh, that thing that we used to do a long time ago that, you know, we stopped doing well before we came to Broadway, but we talked about this and it informed our process, and it is a part of who we are now.
The year that I joined the show, my oldest sister passed that year, so December, Christmas Eve of that year. And I remember when they first made the announcement, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really happening. I called my mom and I said, hey, just pray for me. This is really happening. And we got back into the rehearsal. The day that we came into rehearsal out of the pandemic, my sister called me and said, Mom is in the hospital. And I lost my mom 2 days into rehearsal coming back to Broadway. And then last Christmas, I lost my dad. But one of the things that I really, really appreciate about being in this particular family is that it held me down through something that I never thought that I would get through. It has grown me as an actor in so many ways, but it has also just taught me about community and family and resilience. But I'm so grateful. That is my gratitude to God and to the universe for giving me something that allowed me to grow and I'm able to glean from, and despite everything else that was going on in my life.
I think Apollo grounds me in a way. You know, since him being here from the beginning has just helped me kind of settle and understand, like, it's time to kind of like lock in. And we're always finding new things on stage too. He's always just willing and ready and excited. It's really, really cool.
I will say one of the things that my parents always instilled and taught me was leave it better than what you found it. And hopefully, as whenever I do decide to leave or depart, and I pray that the show runs forever and that a million other kids get their Broadway debuts, that I've set a standard. And I don't want anybody to follow in my footsteps. I actually want them to make their own. But I've set a standard to feel and to walk like a path that you can get there a little bit easier, but even be bigger and better.
As a costume designer, being able to work globally is a dream. My week to week and day to day is very eclectic. Because we have 5 companies running right now, there's a lot of times where, say, Germany will be like, I can't get this thing in Germany, I need help. Can you help me out with this? Or costume pieces are only built in New York for all of our companies, which means that, for instance, I'll have to do Zoom fittings of Thriller costumes at 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and then clock off of that and be able to jump onto something happening in London. It's been so lovely to be able to build this relationship over time and be able to get a shorthand of how we develop things and how we address new issues as they come up and unexpected problems that only happen in certain theaters. To be like, oh, I work with this team and we have a way of figuring things out. Well, we call this the MJ Costume Studio. It's a space. We have an office, a fitting room, and then we have several what we call alumni rooms that are storage for all of the people that have ever been in MJ that are not currently in the show. When someone leaves the show, we take their entire closet and we arrange it alphabetically according to first name in these rooms, so that when For instance, I got a call last night saying we're sending Sage Lee to Australia. He just came back from the tour. We have his stuff organized. So he's meant to leave Tuesday night. So we're gonna go pack up his stuff, get it to Australia so that when he arrives, they can throw him on stage. So yeah, this is a super quick change. So everything's rigged. We are not a Wicked. We are not a Hamilton. The way it's designed is very different in that there's so many costumes that are spanning so many different time periods.
It makes you feel royal.
Yeah. It's definitely sparkly too. Someone like Sam, especially if you're understudying Middle Michael and MJ, there is a physicality that we are trying to achieve. And so we do small tweaks for each person to make them the best they can be in that role.
Always locked and loaded. She's always like, she knows what needs to be fitted, know what needs to be right, know what the looks needs to be for everyone in the cast, not just for the MJs or the Michaels, but everyone in the cast, what things should look like, how it should fit on us, and how it should really perceive from the audience.
I have always felt incredibly lucky that I just stumbled into it. But when I see people that are really interested and curious, I just think, show up, talk to me. I think there's a lot of feeling that working in the arts is dangerous in some way, that it's uncertain work. It's a big deterrent for a lot of, younger people looking at the arts and being like, well, I can't do that. What if I don't make it? It's like, it's a job like anything else. You have to show up, you have to do the work.
When you walk into this theater, you are taken back to a time where Michael Jackson was, and still is, the #1 artist of all time. You get transported back to 1992, you hear these songs, you attach these feelings to them, you're like, oh my God, remember when this happened, remember this happened? Like, that feeling is unprecedented, and you can't get rid of that. So I think that's why people are still coming to this theater.
There's the entertainment. I think that the story speaks to a human story. Hopefully looks a little bit behind the scenes in a way that is brave to do, and also still gives you this incredible songbook and these incredible numbers of this iconic artist.
We go outside and sign autographs. There's not one time that I'm out there that I don't hear, I'm from Japan, I'm from Chile, I came from Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay. And I'm like, not just New Yorkers or Jersey or, I'm from the South. So anytime somebody says, hey, I'm like, where you from? And they're like, Texas, I heard it. So you get to meet all these people. It's just a show that you can't beat.
Being able to see the different ways that he has influenced not only music in America, but, worldwide, just the culture and the strides he made. We talk about it in the show, and I think it's very important.
Michael would always wanted people to live with love, no matter what people were saying, no matter what people close to him were saying. His music has really transcended everything. You're still listening to his music no matter how old you are. Michael has just created something that's like, it's forever. It's gonna be there forever. And I think that's what this show has as well.